mind it. Put away childish things.
It ain't hard to tell.
Driving it, that I think if the car doesn't sound good, there's no point in buying it. For me, it's so important, and I guess that's why the Boxster 718 didn't do anything for me. After 3 months of ownership, I hated it and returned it. Well, not returned it, but sold it. Whereas this thing, 6 litre V12, the sound it produces is absolutely divine. South of France is always beautiful and enjoyable, except for when you come here in July, stupidly. It is so hot, 29-30 degrees every day. Most normal people would enjoy it, but I have really bad circulation, and as a result my body doesn't cool itself down, so I have to be in air-conditioned places or sit in an air-conditioned car. I can't really just go out to the beach and lie there. I would probably faint and die within 15 minutes. So this afternoon I had to go back to the hotel and have a nap, a siesta, because my body was unable to cope and there was nothing else I could do. I'll either drive around in the car all day, which is pointless because you're polluting the environment and you're not even enjoying it, and or go home, which I did. And now it's 8 o'clock, 27 degrees, and I'm out, and it's bearable. But I don't really know what to do. I always drive, and I enjoy driving. When I get to my destinations, then I'm always out of things to do. Shows what a boring person I am. Cannes is lovely and amazing, but I don't know how people survive here, especially in the summer. Maybe they have good thermostats in their body and their body can regulate the heat. Maybe they got used to it. Me being British, my body is used to under 25 degrees Celsius, anything above it, unable to handle. As it turns out, my dog is depressed. So I'm having to cut the trip short and go back early because my friend who's looking after the house and the animals called me a few times to say that the dog's not eating. And usually when he's sick or when he is depressed, he doesn't eat. Yes, I have parking sensors and a camera, but also I'm a very good driver. I can park in one go because I know the magic trick, which I can tell you one day. You can park perfectly in any car anywhere in one go without having any problems. It's that spot where every YouTuber comes. Yes, I've been here before with the 911 and I thought I should come back again with this baby because it may feel left out that I haven't brought it to this particular spot. But yeah, this place is quite famous and popular with most of the YouTubers because it's a nice spot to stop and take pictures. The only thing is, I've come here at the wrong time of the day and it's 2 o'clock, so sun is right above me and it's not a very good time to take pictures and film because the light is right above your head. Anyway, I'm now heading off to another very, very beautiful area, a route where it's about an hour and a half from Monaco, but it's amazing roads, so hopefully I can stretch this baby's legs a bit. So I went to La Tourbe near Monaco, which is the hill above Monaco. I think that's where Seth lives, the other car YouTuber. I think Seth Delaney, maybe. That's what his name is. Now I'm going towards Grenoble and going through Route Napoleon. It's still another 75 kilometers before I get there, but it's hopefully everything I expect it to be. I thought I should talk a little bit about this car because I have been blown away by its performance and what it has to offer, and it's just the car journalists only give you the stats and numbers because I guess they have a limited amount of time to pass on so much information, and they're also probably pressured by the companies to talk about certain things. Now that 0 to 60 and all that crap is completely irrelevant, because unless you're taking your car on a track and timing your laps, I don't know what you're going to achieve by having that 0 to 60 and that really, really shaved off numbers, 4 seconds versus 3.8 seconds. I don't even know if anyone can tell, and I've said this before in my videos. An ordinary person can't tell unless you have a computer instead of a brain. The main thing is, how do you enjoy the car? How do you feel when you're behind the wheel? And this car, out of all the cars I've owned in my life, I can safely say, maybe I haven't tried other amazing cars, but this one has completely blown me away. The V12 is a completely different beast. The amount of torque it produces is what gives you the enjoyment rather than the brake horsepower. Because the brake horsepower comes much later, but the torque comes in earlier. And that's what's so beautiful about this car. The other thing is the road grip and the way this car handles. It's the balance, the weight distribution between the front and the rear. All of that is just so beautifully done. The steering rack, for example, in this car is a hydraulic old-fashioned steering, which gives you the feel of the road. It transmits the right amount of information, so you feel the road and you feel the grip. The 911, the old ones, the 987 Boxster that I had, those cars have hydraulic steering wheels, so they feel really good. But the current GTS that I have, the 991.1, doesn't give you the feeling, and you don't really enjoy the road as much. Whereas this car is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I can't sing the praises of this car enough to justify the pleasure it gives me. You shift it into manual, the gears kick in at the right time, and they give you that little kick in the back when you change gears. The PDKs, as good as they are, they don't have that emotional effect that you have with these old-fashioned gearboxes. And I can understand why Lamborghini didn't change their gearboxes for a while, because this gearbox gives you the feeling you need to enjoy the car. And even though inside the car I feel like I am sitting much higher up than the 911, the center of gravity feels lower because of the way the car handles. It just, you can swerve it, you can go around corners. I have to say the tires and all of that really helps. It has big tires. I mean, in general, overall, compared to all the other cars, if I can be so bold to say, compared to even the Ferraris that I've driven, this car is superb. The Ferraris are nice, loud, they have that sex appeal, but this car is completely different. I think I need to read a thesaurus to learn some new words to describe how brilliant this thing is. But for example, the respect that this car commands is from another planet. Everywhere I go, people give me thumbs up, kids take pictures, women, men, young guys, young women, everyone. So it appeals to all age groups, and everyone looks at the car and says, nice car. With the 911, there's so many of them around, there's only a small bunch of people who are interested in it, so it's not the same. Anyway, back to the car. So this thing, I've been going all over the south of France, up and down the mountains, and doing all these little windy, twisty roads to enjoy the car as much as I can. And God, it just, I don't want to stop. The amount of fuel I've burnt is unbelievable, but it's just so much pleasure. The other thing is it's really soundproofed, so when you roll up the windows and turn off the exhaust, it's a silent, quiet cruiser with the Bang & Olufsen sound system. You're just cruising away, listening to amazing music wherever you are. And when you open the windows a little, switch on the exhaust, put it into sport mode or switch it to manual, it becomes a loud beast. On the outside, it's so graceful and stylish, but every time I park the car, either I walk away from it or walk back to it, I look at it and I think, that was a good choice. That was the right car to buy. I was quite unsure because I was looking at DB9s and DBSs, and I was thinking maybe I'm buying an old man's car because it's 4-door and 4-seater. But no, it was the right car to buy. These tolls in France, God knows how much money I've paid for these tolls everywhere. It's just, I'll get the bill at the end of the month and find out. There are a few things. I know I showed you that little stick that I used to pull tickets out from the other side in parking lots, but it's when you're driving around France or Italy, you have to pay tolls on the motorways. So I highly recommend getting one of these little units that automatically charges to your account. It changes your life. You don't have to stop and get the ticket out, take your credit card out, put it in, blah blah blah. You just go through it, and some of the lanes have a 30 km/h limit, so you don't have to stop. You can just slow down to 30 km/h and you can go through it, and it will open it up, which is great.